Hello, squaddies. Welcome once again to Dauntless and the Fearless Slayer's Guide. Today, we'll be taking a look at the Bestiary entry for the Skarn. Now, just like the Shrike and the Charog, the Skarn is an elemental beast. Specifically, in this case, it is the Earth Elemental Beast. But before we get into that, I got a couple of things to say. First off, this might be the last guide video Bestiary I do for a bit because I'm gonna have to re-up to my current level. I think it's actually the day I'm recording this. They're doing a full progress reset, getting ready for open beta. So I'm gonna lose my progress. I'm gonna have to redo. I'm gonna get myself back up to where I am. Don't know why I'm taking all this stuff. But and speaking of open beta, that's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Namely, the open beta is coming. Let's see, this video is going out on May 8th. That means that the open beta is 16 days off from the day this video releases. Yes, open beta is May 24th. Anyway, let's get going. Now, the Skarn is, as I said, it's the Earth Elemental Beast. It has about 10 attacks. Ooh, it's not a jump vent. That's a magnetic flux. It has 10 attacks. One of them, of course, is the Enrage, and two of the attacks are Enrage only. Unlike something like the Charog, the Skarn also has a couple of opportunities. So there's actually a good chance to get some extra hits in on the Skarn. And I'll point those out when we get there. In fact, one of them is on the Skarn's biggest attack. Now, one thing that's unique about the Skarn is that if you're not paying attention, it's actually pretty easy to miss where it's hiding. Because unlike the Charog, actually unlike everything else that I've fought, which again does not include the Rezakiri or the Shroud, the Skarn is the only one that's actually kind of passive when you find it. Unlike the other beasts, again not counting the Rezakiri or the Shroud, the Skarn is not up and about walking around. You'll see what I mean when we find it. Hopefully it's pretty soon, because the reset is apparently coming in about an hour. And I want to get this video made. I've already been here. Take this launcher. So one of the easiest ways to find the Skarn and where it's hiding is to look for the active rift. I know I could have made that easier, but Phoenix Opal. These are very useful because these give you revive stims. You need Phoenix Opals to make revive stims. Also, let me get in the comments, guys. Let me know if you want me to do like crafting guides. I can do a little bit. I'm not a great crafter in this game, but I can try. But one of the things about the Skarn is this is actually also the beast that I feel the least desire to fight, because aside from it being passive and just kind of sitting near the active rift, looking at the Skarn, I really don't feel like it's a threat to Ramsgate. It looks like it might be a Geovore. That's probably a terrible word, and I don't even know if it's a real word. I don't even know if it's perfectly cromulent. Yes, I'm borrowing from The Simpsons. Deal with it. Although I will admit, the Matt Groening's response to the Apu controversy was a little bit stupid. But anyway, what I mean by Geovore is I'm pretty sure the Skarn, judging by its design, it legitimately looks like it just eats like rocks and minerals. Oh, here we are. Now there's the active rift, but you'll notice it seems like there's two. The one on the left there, that's the actual rift. The one on the right, that my helmet's pointing at, that's the Skarn. Because the Skarn starts burrowed. Unlike everything else, the Skarn actually starts in hiding. Now it will come out and unburrow, and there it is. The Skarn, of course, the rock armor is not actually a native part of the Skarn. It rearranges it to use for various attacks. We already saw one right there. That's just a simple charge. It kind of doesn't really have much of a tell. This is its biggest attack. unfortunately, I'm not set for this because I don't have a charge, but this is the Stone Tornado. It calls up small clouds of rocks around itself, starts spinning, and then does that. It can basically pull you in from just about the entire arena away, and does a lot of, it does some decent knockdown damage. You have to be careful because running away from that is actually very difficult. I hid behind a tree because that was the best chance I had. Now the Stone Tornado actually is one of your big opportunities. I am messing up a lot today. Because if you have a charged pike, which I am trying to build up, the charged pike can actually knock it out. If you can just, or if you have a hammer shot, which means of course you need a hammer. Ugh, I am just taking way too much damage. I am off my game right now. It's been a while since I fought a Skarn. But if you can fire a shot and hit the Skarn while it's doing the tornado, it has to be actively spinning. You can knock it out and it'll knock it over for a bit, like the regular opportunities do. Take a stamina potion real quick. And you can get some free hits in. I'll see if I can get the there's the other one. When it rears up like that, it will hold for a second. Yes, you shoot it in the crotch. It knocks it over, and that is your big opportunity as well. That is just a body slam. That's what I call that. Oh, come on. I thought I was out of the way. Now, one thing about the body slam is if you use the opportunity on it, anybody that's behind the Skarn when it gets knocked over will take damage, because, I mean, you got something that probably weighs about the same as a small bus landing on your head. That's gonna hurt. There's the Earth Spike. It kind of starts off looking like the body slam, but it only goes up to about a 45-degree angle and then slams its front legs down on the ground. This causes the Earth Spike to jut up out of the ground. All you have to do is keep walking. That does gain a little bit of a change to when the Skarn enrages. Namely, it'll fire off more than one, if there's more than one Slayer active. Take as many of the opportunity shots as you can get, folks. You're going to need them. Especially the first couple times you face this thing. Now, the forward charge we already saw. It's what it started with. Oh, I'll show you the opportunity. There you go. You won't do a lot of damage because the armor will... The Skarn stone armor is one of the big issues to fighting this thing because it has a massive... The armor gives it a massive amount of damage reduction. Luckily, the Earth Spike is actually really easy to dodge. That's just a forward charge. It has two versions of that. That's the shoulder charge. That right there is the shoulder charge. You saw it shift its weight and then roll. Actually, wait. No, that's the rolling boulder. I'm sorry. That's the shoulder charge, where it shifts all of its armor to one side and then kind of flops over like that. Now that right there is also showing you a weakness of the body slam, or the weakness of trying to use the opportunity on the body slam. But yeah, the rolling boulder, it shifts its weight to one side and then violently throws itself. The good news is, while it's doing that, when it comes out of the roll, when its armor is sitting on the ground, that is your chance, if you can get close enough, quickly enough, to do some extra damage. Because the Skarn will take regular damage if you can get under its armor plating. The shoulder charge we've seen a couple of times. It's where it shifts the armor to one side and then throws itself in that direction. It doesn't go quite as far as the rolling boulder, but it does do quite a bit of damage. Now, one thing about the Skarn with its body armor, you can hit the armor, and in fact, I kind of recommend doing it. Oh, tornado coming. because you can. This will work better if you have a hammer or an axe. But it is actually entirely possible, when fighting a Skarn, to break through the stone armor. It's not easy because, I mean, you're hitting rock with something that's not meant to punch through it, but... Another body slam. But yeah, you also saw the forward charge when it started, where it doesn't go very far, but it's got a wide hitbox because it shifts all of its shards onto the front side. We've actually talked about most of the attacks. The only ones we're missing are the Enrage and the 3 Enrage attacks it gains. I think I might have said 2 at the start, but it's actually 3. Although, to be fair, one of them is not really a new attack. It's an upgrade to the Earth Spike. There. I broke something. I think I broke the back leg. That was me being stupid. But the Skarn is also unique in another way. Namely, it's Enrage, which we might see relatively soon, I don't know. But yeah, you have to hit it. You don't have to hit it square in the groin to knock it over during the body slam, but it does help. Okay, that right there is a sign. I'm run over here real quick. Good thing its Earth Spike didn't land. Get the spear out, you idiot! Okay, my spear is just... There we go! I was legitimately trying to draw my spear there. That's just a glitch. Screw it, I'm gonna go ahead and take the last of this. But yeah, the Enrage... Like I was saying, the Skarn actually has a unique Enrage. Namely in that... Ow. Unlike other things where its attacks become faster... or hit harder, the Skarn's attacks actually become much easier. Because it's only got... When it's enraged, the Skarn only has 3 attacks. And one of them is very situational. Actually, my lantern real quick. The other thing that's unique about the Skarn is that the Skarn actually becomes completely stationary. It will not run around and do like it is right now when it's enraged. Okay, so I thought I hit it pretty square, but I guess not. Okay, it actually shifted direction a little bit on me. I don't know what's going on. I think the Evolving Wilds actually did affect the Skarn more than they thought. Also, I'm pretty sure that head shake is a new attack that I'd never seen before, where it kind of shakes its head and shifts the shards around. Another rolling boulder, so you can kind of see what it looks like. Come on, Skarn, you know you want to enrage. Show the people. Also, you don't really want to try and break off the Skarn's tail, because I'm not sure you can. With how small it is, that would make sense. Come on. There's the enrage. Yeah, you see, what it'll do is it'll curl into a ball like this. If nobody's attacking it, it'll do that, and that will create an Earth Spike under every active Slayer in the fight. If somebody is attacking it, it'll do that. The shards will shake for a second, and hit and hit the area that somebody was aiming at. The multi-spike is probably going to be the most common if nobody is actually attacking it. Whereas the shard launcher like that, like I said, it'll rumble the shards it's about to launch. And then fire them off. The only other attack it does during that is if you break through its armor while it's enraged. It's actually running. But yeah, if you can break through the Skarn's armor when it's enraged, it will do its final attack. It's very fast. It doesn't have much of a tail, so you have to be very careful. Basically, it will launch a small attack out of that area. Like with that rear leg I was hitting, it'll launch out a kick. Most of the time I've seen it, it's come from the mouth because that's just where I tend to aim for the head. Now I gotta find the thing again. I don't think there's nowhere farther to go on this part. But yeah, like I said, the Skarn is a very simple fight, but it's kind of the idea of keep it simple, but make it dangerous. It's because there's an old saying from Bruce Lee that kind of fits. There's the Skarn, namely that I am not afraid of the man who has practiced 100 kicks one time or 1,000 kicks one time each. I am afraid of the man who has practiced one kick 1,000 times. Because the Skarn, it does not have a huge repertoire of attack compared to some of the other beasts you'll fight in the Shadowed Isles. What it does have, though, is complete mastery of its current abilities. It's also the fact that, it's covered in stone armor. Down you go. Time to finish this thing. Yeah, ultimately the Skarn's attacks fall under the idea of they're boring, but they're practical. It's not flashy like the Stormclaw or anything or any of the Tier 4 beasts. But again, the Skarn is incredibly dangerous just because every part of the fight you're connected to the earth. And the Skarn has that connection even farther than we do. I'm not breaking any of the armor because I'm using a spear against it. Now remember, breaking the armor on a Skarn, kind of difficult with some things, but entirely possible. It might just be that I haven't concentrated enough on any one part. That was a lucky dodge. Shoulder charge there. Shoot it in the balls because that's the easiest way to knock something down. I don't even know if this Skarn is male or female. Gonna take my next stamina potion. Oh. Yeah, and sometimes you don't knock it over because you don't do enough damage. That right there is why the stone tornado is probably the biggest danger the Skarn has. Because you can't... If you get pulled in too close, there is no getting away from it. Tried to get out of that attack, but I was locked into the animation. It is also entirely possible to trigger a shard launch, which is the name I've given to the thing where it fires off shards from its body. And it's entirely possible to trigger one and be standing in a place where it can't actually hit you. Come on. Got it. Alright, looks like we're going to round 3. I was kind of hoping that would be round 2 would be the end of it, but... Mostly because I keep messing up. Where is the final round? This should be the final fight. There it is. One thing to note, if you're having trouble finding the enemy, look for the goats. If the goats are running from, or if the rams are running from somewhere, that's probably a good indication of where the thing is. Also, yes, you can attack the goats, but don't worry, it's not dead. It'll get up in a second. See? I mean, it's not like I just cut one of its feet off. Alright, so... yeah, the Skarn's the one behind. That right there. That was its forward charge. It kind of has two variations of that. We've seen the one where it's just kind of where it really charges forward and decides to go for a long distance attack. The other one that we just saw, that's its usual opener, where it does that. It has a very wide hitbox because all the shards come forward. There's the other one. So actually, if you want to get technical, I guess it's got 11 attacks. Ouch. What the? Oh wow, I just noticed how much. I just noticed I've only got like 5 minutes to kill this thing. Okay, there's some weird sync issues going. My last stamina potion. There we go. Well, that took a lot longer than I thought it would. 26 minutes, 76% danger, B rank, because I messed up a lot. Alrighty, let's head back to Ramsgate, and I'll do a quick run. I'll do the usual rundown of the abilities. Should be back in town in just a moment. Alright, you might also notice that I'm not wearing my helmet in town. You can do that. Alright, real quick. We'll do a quick rundown again of the, I'm going to say 10.5 attacks the Skarn has. Start with the rolling boulder. This is one where it shifts its weight to one side and then very strongly throws itself in the opposite direction. It'll travel a good distance and roll to its feet. The shard armor will be left behind when it does this. This gives you a small window to attack without the armor getting in the way, and you can also use this as an opportunity to try and break some of the armor pieces while they're on the ground. Next, you have the shoulder charge, where it shifts its weight to one side and pauses, along with bringing the shards on the side it's leaning towards over to the other side. And then it will throw itself in the direction it was leaning away from, with the shards now on that side. So if it leans to the right and moves the shards to the left, it'll go left. Same if it goes the opposite way, you know that. Now, this gives you a small opportunity as well to attack its stomach. This is a good opportunity. The rolling boulder and the shoulder charge are very similar attacks, so you got to be careful. Watch and see if the shards start to move when it starts to lean. That's the key. That's the shoulder charge and not the rolling boulder. Alright, next up, Stone Tornado. Calls up a couple of small clouds of rocks to hover around it, and then it starts to spin. The spin will last for a decent amount of time, and will pull, has an area of pull on basically the entire battlefield you're on. Although, if you get far enough away, the farther away from the Skarn you get, the weaker the pull gets. So it's only really going to pull you really strongly if you're close in. I don't recommend trying to dodge roll away from this unless you're using the chain blades, because their dodge keeps you on your feet and you can recover a little faster. This is also one of your opportunities. Remember, if you have a charged warpike shot or a hammer blast ready, you can shoot the Skarn and knock it out of the tornado. This will leave it on the ground, unarmored for a second. It recovers decently quickly, so be ready to attack as soon as it hits the ground. Next up, the forward charge. It gathers itself, kind of leans, it lifts its front feet just a small amount off the ground, and then moves forward at a decent clip, moving its head side to side. There's two different versions of this. There's a shoulder charge, where it just pushes, it kind of creates a wing shape with a small wing shape behind its head with its shards, and then there's one where it gathers all of the armor shards on its body towards the front to create a large fan. This is why I said 10.5 abilities. Both of these hit pretty hard. The difference is is in the travel distance. If it's a shoulder charge where it doesn't create the giant fan, it'll go farther. If it creates the giant fan, it'll take maybe 3 steps. Both of these have a decently sized hitbox. The fan has a much wider one because of how far out the shards reach. Basically, if it's coming at you, roll at an angle away from it. That's my best advice. The body slam, which is the next one, it rears up on its hind legs. It's basically standing straight up and down, and it'll stay this way for a few seconds before slamming forward onto a nearby target. It'll slam down twice. Remember, during the windup, this is your second opportunity attack. During that windup, if you hit it, you can actually do this one of 3 ways. If you have a hammer blast, a charged warpike shot, or if you're feeling brave, or if you don't have one of those, you can hit it pretty hard with a weapon. Hit with a heavy attack with something like the axe, a hammer attack. I'm pretty sure you could pull it off with a sword, maybe a warpike. I wouldn't recommend doing this with the chain blades. If you can hit it really hard in any way, in between its rear legs while it's standing, you can overbalance it and send it backwards. And this will give you a chance to hit it. Now remember, if you're playing with other people and somebody is behind it when it starts to rear up, warn them that you're going to try and knock it over, because if it lands on them, it will do damage. Again, it's something this size it's basically something this size and weight of a small bus that'll land on your head. That's never good for you. Alright, the Earth Spike. It'll look around for a second, rear its body up to about a 45-degree angle, and then slam back down. When it does this normally, outside of Enrage, there will be a small dust cloud about a second later under at least one member of your party. They can do this up to 2 people outside of Enrage. But there will be a small dust cloud around their ankles, and then that will turn into a spike of rock from below a little bit after that. As long as you're still moving, the Earth Spike basically cannot hit you. It's when you're standing still that this becomes a threat. So this is a threat to people that use warpikes a lot, because if we're standing still, that means we're getting ready to shoot somebody. Alright, next up, the Enrage. Again, the eyes begin to glow, its head kind of goes around a little bit like it's getting ready to roar, and then the Skarn curls into a ball. One thing about this that I don't think I really mentioned that well in the actual hunt is that when the Skarn curls up, any missing armor segments are instantly restored. So it'll restore all of missing shards when it goes into its enraged mode. Alright. Now, again, the Enraged kind of gains 3 new attacks, and these are the only attacks the Skarn uses while it's enraged. The multi-spike, where if nobody is attacking it, or if it just doesn't have a specific target in mind, it'll rear up the majority of its body and then slam down. This works just like the Earth Spike, but this will hit all active Slayers in the fight. When I say active Slayers in the fight, I mean ones that are actively on the battlefield fighting the Skarn. If you're on the other side of the island, I don't know if this will hit you, because nobody's been that much of an asshole to help me test that, thankfully. Alright, again, that works just like the Earth Spike, but it will hit your entire team, as far as I know. Next up, the Shard Launcher. The Skarn will if this is only done in one direction at a time, and it's only when somebody is actively attacking the Skarn in a way that it views as a big threat while it's enraged. The Skarn will rumble, like shake the stone armor, the shards, on the part of the body that it wants to attack from, and then it'll launch them out a second later. It'll go in a specific direction. I'll talk about that in just a second. This actually gives you an opportunity to attack. I shouldn't use opportunity like that. This gives you a chance to attack that exposed limb for some unarmored damage. Now, there are 3. Actually, I think it's either 6. I want to say it's 6 sections of the body that it fires from. It can fire from all 4 legs, which go out at about a 45-degree angle from the body. And I'm doing this from the head. Let's consider the head 12 o'clock. The arms, or all the legs would be it'd be about 1:30, 4:30, 7:30, and 9:30, give or take. Actually, no, let's just go with 3, 6. Yeah, actually, no, the 30s does work. those will go out. So basically, it'll go off at that angle. If you want to go from, again, 12 o'clock, the head being 12 o'clock, it'll go out about a 45-degree angle from a straight up, from that straight line going from head to tail. This is getting a little complicated. Whereas the head and tail can each launch it straight out. The tail can launch, and so can the head. Like I said, it's only really done if somebody's attacking that area, though. Just watch for the rumble, and you can roll to the side. You'll be fine. Where you should be. And then finally, the Enrage has one more. It's the non-shard attack. I don't have a fancy name for that one. And it's only done if the shards on that area are broken already. So, for example, if you attack the head and the shards are gone, the Skarn will shake slightly, very slight, and then launch a very quick attack at the attacker. The head is the most common that I've seen, and it's always a bite attack. So just be ready, because, like I said, the tell for that one is very, very subtle. But yeah, so that is the Skarn. Hopefully the next time I see you guys will be a little bit closer to open beta, and I'll be back where I need to be to do the rest of these. I've still got my Bestiary. I'm not going to reset that unless I see that everything's changed 100%. But if you enjoyed, please be sure to like or favorite the video. You can also leave a comment down below if you have anything you'd like to say. If you want to keep up with me and never miss any of my current series, then please feel free to join the squadron by subscribing to the channel. That does help me out, and I really do appreciate it. As for that, folks, I have been D. This has been the Fearless Slayer's Guide to the Skarn Hunt. Until next time, folks, and hopefully we're getting hopefully we'll see a good release for this game coming up within the next several months. But until then, good night and good gaming.